Welcome to Retirement with Jim. So today, is the term retirement no longer relevant? So before we get started, if you like my channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button, helps my channel grow. So with that, let's get started. So when Social Security was created in the 1930s, life expectancy was 65 years old. You know what? The math didn't work even back then. So now it's 78.4, but people are actually now living into their 80s and 90s. So it begs the question, is all of that really relevant? Because the math really doesn't work out very well. And of course, remember, it was designed as a safety net, and pensions are gone. People saving a whole lot less. It's a challenge in today's world, and so it really makes you think and wonder, how relevant is the term retirement today? So now the money gap. There is a huge money gap in this country. So the Federal Reserve says 40% of people ages 55 to 64 have zero retirement savings. Zero. And it's funny because it's the Federal Reserve. I always thought it was always, AARP that would talk about that. And you would think, well, they're kind of slanted, because that's what they take care of the older group. But you know what? They've been AARP just sounding the alarm bell for the longest time. Federal Reserve is actually saying this is absolutely very true. Excuse me. So retirement savings are shrinking while people live longer, making that one of the most challenging times to be able to actually retire. So, and retirement funds have been rated on a large scale basis for a number of things. One of them being the most devastating, which is medical expenses, which, medical bankruptcy. There's the post office. Medical bankruptcy. It's a huge thing that is costing people their life savings. So it's something you have to look at. More people going into medical debt than ever before. So what is the new reality? The new retirement reality? Well, according to AARP, 20% of people are going back to work. They are unretiring. Many of them need to because they need the money. Others want to because they want to be more relevant in their lives. They either are really bored, didn't plan well enough for it, and it just, it was something that they figured that they were better off going back to work, that they would enjoy it more. So, but 20% of people are going back to work, and a large portion of that is all about the money. Now, going back to work shouldn't be viewed as a failure. It's just simply, it's time to rewrite the rules in the rule book to suit your life. The rule book that was written in the 1930s isn't relevant now. So to rewrite the rule book for what suits your life makes perfect sense. And so, and in many cases, it's not about failure. When life throws you a lot of curveballs, you got to figure out, what can you do? What is necessary to be able to be successful? And a lot of that is just simply going, okay, I have to change what I'm doing, change how I'm doing it. So what to do now? Well, you got to change your thinking, new versus old. What's going on now versus when this was written, in the 1930s, and even in the 50s and 60s, it still was relatively new, and we weren't on course to save that kind of money. It wasn't until the 401k came along that employers then said, we don't have to do pensions anymore. We can, wipe our hands of this and be done. And that's exactly what they did. So you got to change your thinking about old versus new. What do you enjoy doing? Hobbies, consulting, mentoring, volunteering. What are things that you have a passion for that actually could turn into something kind of lucrative and maybe able to make some money at? Maybe not a ton of money, but anything that supplements when you need that money becomes a godsend. The old rule books, really doesn't apply anymore, because it doesn't exist for that life. You need to rewrite your own rules. You got to figure out what makes sense to you. So it really kind of begs the question in analysis here is, what should we call retirement? Should it still be called retirement? Or is that an outdated term that is no longer relevant? Let me know in the comments below what you think. So with that, I'm going to tell you have a great day, and I'm going to see you in the next one.